So by them acknowledging our 48 hours and by them saying that IUSS can't be stored, it really shows that there's inaccuracies in the warning letter, thus the confusion in the marketplace. But we need to go back to the facts. One tray was cleared with no dry time and a valid 48-hour storage period. IUSS can't be stored, thus one tray can't be IUSS. It's pretty much that simple.
Rising above the buzz of ultrasonic cleaners and the clanking of stainless steel are the ideas and voices that are changing an industry. You're listening to the Beyond Clean podcast, the central nexus for the people, processes, and products that are improving our sterile processing world. Each week, we speak with frontline technicians, CEOs, engineers, and entrepreneurs with a common goal to help you fight dirty. Every instrument, every time. Whether you're tuning in for education or inspiration, we're glad you did. Now, turn on those washers and turn up the volume. It's time to go beyond clean.
On this Vendor Spotlight, we speak with Dave Billman, Chief Operations Officer at OneTray. Dave's been working closely with the FDA over the last 3 years and, as you may have heard already, has an update for us and a big announcement. And we're going to be talking about this journey that they've been through with the FDA and kind of the state of where things stand today. So exciting news from Dave. Stay tuned. We're going to be right back after a short break.
From 17 Studios, you're listening to Beyond Clean, the global voice of sterile processing.
Joining us now is Dave Billman, Chief Operations Officer at OneTray. And Dave has been the executive working with the FDA from OneTray. And today we're going to be getting an update. So Dave, I'm really excited to have you on the show. Obviously enjoyed getting to know you and the rest of the team when we filmed Beyond the Tour and came and visited your facilities. So happy to have you on the podcast. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Justin. I appreciate you inviting us on today.
So, let's just kick this off with, really this whole conversation, but something that recently came out, kind of an update. We saw an announcement that the FDA had acknowledged the storage claim. And so can you tell us about that? What does that mean?
Yes, thank you, Justin. And it's kind of funny because it's not new news. It's basically the same news we've been saying all along. It's just that the FDA has acknowledged it to us that, yes, we were clear with a validated 48-hour storage period. And they also stated to us that IUSS containers, immediate use steam sterilization containers, can't be stored. So it just made sense to put the two together. OneTray cleared with storage. IUSS can't be stored. OneTray is not IUSS.
Well, that's great, Dave. And I want to walk it back to kind of what set this all off, right? And really just this confusion that still is out there in the industry around the warning letter. So I was kind of hoping you could walk us through that a little bit, maybe make it less confusing and tell us why, for you, it's really just an issue with labeling.
Yeah, Justin, I think it goes back to some of the inaccuracies in the warning letter. Individuals will read the warning letter and see where the FDA says we're IUSS, but now the FDA has basically said what we've said all along is IUSS can't be stored, but OneTray can be stored. So that's where confusion is, and nobody's going to get a letter posted out to the FDA website and says, hey, we made a mistake, or we might have stated it wrong, or there's confusion. They're just going to close this thing out eventually with a stamp on their website saying closed. Unfortunately, it doesn't help the confusion, right? So by them acknowledging our 48 hours and by them saying that IUSS can't be stored, it really shows that there's inaccuracies in the warning letter, thus the confusion in the marketplace. But we need to go back to the facts. OneTray was cleared with no dry time and a valid 48-hour storage period. IUSS can't be stored, thus OneTray can't be IUSS. It's pretty much that simple.
All right, you're going to have to forgive me for just staying stuck on warning letters because I think you did a great job of clearing the confusion. But I just also don't even understand, like, how do these letters normally come about? When they get issued, what's the cause? What gets that to happen?
Well, from what I understand in working with the agency and talking to others in my environment, warning letters usually are driven from an inspection gone wrong or something discovered during an inspection by the FDA that warrants letting the public know there's something wrong with the product. Or it can be some adverse event that takes place or it could be a complaint. Mostly they're driven from an inspection.
So is that how yours came about?
Well, that's kind of funny because ours kind of came out of the blue. We weren't going through an inspection. We have no adverse events reported on us. We have 4 million plus usage of the product out there. And it just showed up. And it really caught us blindsided. We didn't expect it, didn't know anything about it. We've been very transparent over the years with the FDA, so we were very surprised by it.
Okay, so you said it wasn't the result of an inspection, but I kind of remember when we were on site and talking to you all that you were telling me that you've had a lot of inspections. So that's almost kind of curious to me. How many inspections, have you had in your 9 years of existence?
Well, we've gone through 6 inspections in 9 years.
What's normal? How many inspections is normal?
Well, I don't think that's typically normal. I mean, the FDA has the right to inspect any medical device company, but 6 inspections in 9 years, in my opinion, seems excessive. But I guess it makes my customers feel good knowing that the FDA's been looking at us and working with us 6 different times over 9 years. And we've been very transparent with them, open book to them, shared everything with them. So I guess if you're a customer, you should feel pretty good about that.
Well, and here's the thing too. It's like, okay, so 6 inspections in 9 years. So obviously there's been a lot of eyeballs on how you do things. But I guess what I'm wondering is, like, a lot of times when I talk to people, they keep referring back to the warning letter and they're like, why isn't this warning letter, like, why hasn't it been resolved? Why is it still out there? And, if you're having that many inspections over a period of time, and then obviously we have this announcement that just came through, I think a lot of people are assuming that you're not doing anything, like the company isn't doing what the FDA wants them to do to get rid of this warning letter, or that you're not taking care of the issue. Like, so, I mean, why is it taking so long for the letter to close? And what have you been doing on your end to help resolve the concern?
I guess in the short answer, we're dealing with the federal government, and I don't need to say much more about that. Things take time. It's slow. I don't look at our current environment in today's world with, dealing with the federal government. But here's the thing. I'm not surprised people may say it looking from the outside in, we haven't done anything. But Justin, I can tell you, I've had over 100 interactions, 100 plus interactions with the FDA over the years since this warning letter came out. And the ironic thing is they're going back to what we said from day one. We can't be IUSS if we have storage. You recognize our storage claim, thus we're not IUSS. And it's kind of come full circle. Now, when will the warning letter be cleared? I don't know. It's not up to our company. It's up to the FDA. And what's ironic about this whole closure thing, it's just going to be something noted on their website is closed. It's not going to be a formal letter. It's not going to be say, hey, we might have made some statements in the original that weren't totally correct. It's not going to be any of that stuff. It's just going to be a closure. But I think what's interesting, and we keep reminding the FDA about this, is there's 4 million plus uses of the product. There's no adverse events that we're aware of that have been reported. There's no problems with the product itself. This wasn't about an efficiency issue about the product. This was about labeling. This was not about the product.
So you've had 6 inspections and 100 interactions. Are you in compliance with what the FDA is requiring?
Yes, and that's another thing that we recently received information from the FDA that we are in compliance. And that's the interesting thing. So what takes so long to close this out? If we are in compliance, we're marking the product correctly, we should have this thing closed out, and we're waiting for that to happen. But we have no control over that closure.
So, Dave, you said there wouldn't be any letter or any kind of big announcement once it's closed. It's kind of curious, right? Because there's so much awareness of it. How are customers or prospective customers going to know when it's closed if there's not going to be a letter or any kind of an announcement?
Well, the company will get notified, but there won't be like a big announcement by the federal government, right? When they close out a warning letter, you can go out to their website and look at it. They'll mark it as closed. And this is one of I think, to your earlier question about, the confusion, is we got these industry experts, the surveyors, and are making statements related to the letter, which is adding to this confusion. If people would just follow the basic facts, one tray can be stored, one tray is not IUSS, there won't be that much confusion in the marketplace. But until this letter is closed, everybody wants to keep going back to that letter, which has some inaccuracies in it.
Well, I'm assuming that the minute it's closed, you'll be making sure that the industry knows. What about the people that are out there that saw this announcement that you're not considered IUSS, but won't really believe it until they see an official letter? Since you just told me there's not going to be a big communication, there's not going to be an official letter. So what would you say to those people?
Well, and I do get that question. Why should I believe you, right? And I tell everybody that with the FDA and us working together for the past 3 years, they've reviewed a lot of stuff. Our IFU currently has been reviewed by the FDA. It clearly states what we've been talking about, this 48-hour storage. The hard part for us is people just to connect the dots of A plus B equals C. And I keep referring back to the storage claim. We reassure our customers that the FDA has been in lockstep with us for the last 3 years in working through this. And we reassure the customers of what the industry talks about. There are definitions out there for IUSS and terminal sterilization. We don't make these up. We follow AAMI ST 79 standards and we utilize them like everybody else does. And there's clear definitions in there about storage being a big difference between IUSS and terminal sterilization. We struggle as an organization because of the basic facts that we've been saying from day one. And facts do matter. Science does matter. And so we keep reassuring our customers of the science and the facts around our product. At the end of the day, I remind people of the track record of this product. 4 million plus usage, no issues with this product.
When you say no issues with the product, are you specifically mentioning medical device reports?
Yes, that's what we refer to. And based on what we are aware of, there are no adverse events reported on this product. This product is safe. It works. It does exactly what it's supposed to do, sterilize medical devices.
So, Dave, that's important because that's what's documented, right? Adverse events, there's nothing there, but let's go another level. Nobody has ever come back to you and reported any incidents either to your company?
No, Justin, and that's the thing that I say can frustrate us as an organization is our customers like this product. They've seen the benefits of this product. They're frustrated with the opinions of some, industry experts, and I'll put quotes around that say, well, one tray is IUSS, or a DNV survey, or a Joint Commission survey, or making statements that are totally false. I get frustrated when somebody calls this product an IUSS container. It cannot be an IUSS container because it can be stored. And so our customers who love this product know how to use it and use it. I feel bad for those customers out there who get bad information and then they rely on industry information that is bad. But at the end of the day, the customers that have this product and use this product love this product.
All right. Well, I think at this point it's time to move forward. So what now?
Well, our next step really is, to continue on the path to ask for closure of this letter as we have asked for. We continue to follow the agreement that we have with the FDA and the labeling and basically marketing it as we've been marketing the product. But at the end of the day, the ball's in the FDA's court. I can't force them to close the letter out. I can't force them to go out to the website and mark it closed. That is something they have to do. We've asked them if they want to come in and do another inspection. We just went through one in January. And that's another frustrating thing, all the inspections we've gone through and most recently the many man hours that have been put in. I feel bad for the taxpayers that pay for all these man hours of inspections for a small company like ours. But the next step really is the FDA has to close the warning letter out, which IST cannot control. And IST basically sits back and waits for that to happen.
So the only thing that you can really control is how quickly you respond and make sure that they get accurate information in a timely manner. Is that really what's in your control?
That is. And I think, it's interesting how this has come full circle. If you really read the warning letter and what's stated in the warning letter, it talks about they went out and looked at our website. Okay, they don't talk about the product. They talk about the marketing, the labeling, but they make comments about IUSS. But now they come around and say that IUSS can't be stored, and one tray is cleared for a 40-hour storage period. So it just has come full circle, and it's taken a long time and a lot of pain on customers' parts and our organization to have to go through all this. And, I'm not going to kid you. I've been called every name in the book, and it's unfortunate because this product can help surgical centers, can help hospitals. It builds efficiencies, and it's needed in today's environment.
All right, Dave. So throughout the interview, I keep hearing this theme, and you said several times to me, even off the air, right, that the facts do matter. But I just want to know, what exactly do you mean by that?
Well, I like to refer back to how this product was cleared by the FDA in 2006. It was cleared with no dry time and a validated 48-hour storage period. It used the word use it immediately or immediate use, but in 2006, immediate use steam sterilization, IUSS, didn't exist. So people can't say, well, you meant immediate use steam sterilization. No, the inventor didn't mean that because that word never even existed for another 2011 is really when it came about. So the fact is it can't be meant to be immediate use steam sterilization. Another point is that IUSS containers can't be stored. One tray can be stored. That's a fact. Compliance. We're in compliance, right? That's a fact. And the other thing I want to kind of mention about the facts is this. I did a little just back of the napkin math. Looked at the website of the FDA for 2019 warning letters when ours came out. There were roughly 76% of the warning letters from 2019 are still open today. That's a fact. Now, why is that? Well, that could be how busy the FDA is. It could be COVID related. But the bottom line is, the fact is we're not closed, and we're in that bucket with those other 76% that are not closed. So I use that a lot. Facts do matter because when you look at the facts, this product is really simple to use.
All right. Well, if you'd like to reach out to One Tray, you can email them at info@onetray.com. You can call 937-619-0138, or you can go to onetray.com and fill out the contact form. And if you'd like to speak to Dave directly, just mention that in the form, include your phone number, and he'll give you a call back. For more information on One Tray's journey with the FDA, go to onetray.com/subscribe. And also, as always, follow the One Tray IFU for use. Dave, great job on this conversation. I know you've been hard at work, not only since 2019, but before then, to bring this product to market and bring those efficiencies. So I just want to thank you for coming on the show and sharing this update with us today.
Thanks, Justin. I really appreciate it, and I hope your listeners enjoyed the update.
That was Dave Billman, Chief Operations Officer at One Tray, and Dave has been working extensively with the FDA, but recently they promoted an announcement, which actually, if you're listening to the Beyond Clean podcast, has been an update that we've been pushing out, but essentially stating that the FDA has acknowledged the storage claim by One Tray, and as a result of having 48-hour storage, cannot be considered IUSS. And Dave covered a lot of topics, and I think he summarized them well at the end there, but specifically the fact that they're in compliance. I think what stood out to me was 76% of the warning letters that have been issued since 2019 are still out there and not closed here 3 years later. So certainly I'm sure that the other 76%, in addition to One Tray, are all very excited to see some resolution to those warning letters. But Dave tells us, in the meantime, they are in compliance and have acknowledged the 48-hour storage claim. So I do want to reiterate, if you do want to follow along and get more information on One Tray's journey with the FDA, just go to onetray.com/subscribe. But you can also reach out to One Tray directly by emailing them at info@onetray.com. You can call them 937-619-0138, or go to the website, onetray.com, fill out the contact form. And if you'd like to speak to Dave directly, just mention that in the form in your notes, and also include your phone number, and he can call you back directly. And as I mentioned, as we were wrapping up the interview with Dave, you must always follow the One Tray IFU for use. That's going to do it for this vendor spotlight. But as a reminder, you can help support Beyond Clean by subscribing on Apple, Amazon, or Google Podcasts. You can also find us on Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or simply search for Beyond Clean on your favorite podcast application. We've also got bonus content for certain episodes, but you've got to download our smartphone app for iPhone or Android. And while you're there in the marketplace, we'd certainly appreciate a rating and a review, because your feedback is important to us here at the show. And if you have any topics that you'd like us to cover on a future episode, or if you have a recommendation for a guest, send an email to info@beyondclean.net. Thank you for listening to this vendor spotlight on Beyond Clean.